That girl Henny, y'all gotta go to her channel.
The girl Henny, do you know who she is?
She a blogger or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, where did this lady come from?
Girl been on your ass.
She on your life, G.
Shout out to Henny over there.
What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the bar. It's your favorite guys and Dr. to that girl, Haney. And today we are going to be pouring up on a few things Nolan Wells. Now, if you are new here, welcome, welcome. Please be sure to like, comment, and of course, subscribe. Click that notification bell, select all so that you get notified whenever I do a video. And if you are a returning Mob Down Henny Gang member, yeah. Now let's get into this pour, baby. We're going to spill, pour, and sip. So I know that I'm usually on at about 10 o'clock. You know, I'm trying to get back on that 10 and 10 type of thing. But there's some other things that are going on behind the scenes. And today it just took me a minute to get everything situated. So I do apologize for the delay. But today we are going to get into the subpoenas. And yes, I have the actual subpoenas. So we're going to look at them. We're going to read one and see exactly what it is that she's looking for in specifics from all of the media platforms that Christine Wansley, being the she, Nolan's mom, is looking for from these. She wants this information from the platforms. Shout out to Mysterious 7 for dropping a gem on him. I got to get a sound for that, a sound bite for him. Drop a gem on him. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for supporting the channel. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about the BART and Katie relationship situation type of thing. Thank you, CJ, for dropping a gem on him. Thank you for supporting the channel. We're going to talk a little bit about the Katie BART connection thing that has come out as well. But I also want to talk about Christine Wansley. I want to talk about Nolan's mom and kind of highlight her more than anything else for the beginning of this video, because I feel like she's not being highlighted enough by me, for me. And this is a mom. This is a mom that is going through a horrific, traumatic event in her life that the whole world is watching. And for everything that is going on, her eyes are on it. She's aware of it. The Attorney General of Mississippi also came out and they had a few things to say about threats that are allegedly being made. And I'm saying allegedly because we haven't seen any proof of that outside of Christine getting some mail in her sent to her and at her residence. And we're going to talk about doxing as well. You know, basically trying to turn her on Ben Crump and Al Sharpton. We don't know what else she has been receiving. We're going to talk about Russell Latino again, because I brought this up the other day. And I just want to talk about how I feel about this silencing of the media. We're going to talk about how the goalpost keeps getting moved and shifted and new things are being created for us to look over here and stay off of what it is that we're talking about at the moment. At the point in time when all of this stuff started coming out, the audio had come out. We have also talked about the MDMR email several times over here. If you remember and you go back to the video where we talked about Katie, which is highlighted on my homepage of this channel, we talked about the MDMR email. We talked about the MDMR reports. We talked about those things. So we're going to review them very briefly. And I promise that I'm not going to keep y'all here for a very long time. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and let's get into these court docs that have been filed by Nolan Wells's mom. Well, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't go there first. I want to go someplace else for a minute, if y'all will follow me. Henny Glasses in the chat, if it's okay for me to take you someplace else before we get into the court documents, because I want to play this for you guys, because I feel like it's important to open up with this. Okay. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me see if y'all are saying, yeah, y'all want the Henny. Y'all got the Henny glasses. All right. So let me go ahead and let me share this with you. This is coming from Christine's TikTok video. So I want to start here so she can set the tone for us. And then we can get into these court documents that she has filed on behalf of her family, getting answers.
Good morning, Boo Bears. Good morning, Boo Bears. I hope everyone is doing well. This has been a trying week for sure. I feel like I am just all over the place. And it has been like, I don't even know the word to describe it. I'm holding on to my faith. My husband and I are leaning heavy into each other in our faith and our family and our friends that are showing up for us. But it's hard. Every day is different. Every second is different. Grief is different. This grief, I've said it before in a previous video, this grief is just different.
Now I want to pause her for just 1 second. Hold on. Hey, Big Gene is in the building. Shout out to Big Gene. Keep me as long as you want to. I sure will. Shout out to BT Scoop TV is in here. And shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Now, I want to talk about that for a second because she's talking about a mother's grief. And I feel like in everything that is going on and everyone who is covering this case, I want to keep in the back of my mind that we're dealing with a mother's pain. We're dealing with a mother's grief. I spoke about this briefly on IG. And what I said was, you know, it's been scientifically proven while we are created by mother and father and their DNA flows through our system, the mother's DNA stays with you for the rest of your life. Okay. And you have to think about this as a mom. What a woman goes through being a mom, you and your child are one for almost a whole year. They call it 40 weeks of pregnancy and say it's 9 months, but it's really almost 10 months when you think about it. And for all of that time, you're created in her womb. You are incubated in her womb. You're protected in her womb. What she eats, you eat. What you feel, what she eats, you eat. What she feels, you feel. Y'all are one being. It is the mother's heartbeat that soothes and comforts a crying baby. It's the mother's scent that the baby looks for when the baby is crying and no one else can coddle them or settle them. It's the mother. So her pain is going to be different than the father's pain. Now, I'm not discounting or discrediting the father's grief that he's going through because he's going through a separate thing as well. Okay. As a father, men are taught that they're not allowed to express their emotions. So for the dad, he has to suck this up and be strong. And he may have breakdown moments, but that's just it. It's moments. As women, we are created as emotional before logical. And that's just scientifically fact. Y'all can get mad. Don't get mad at me, but it's the fact. If you know how we are, you know how we are. We're emotional. So for a mom to lose the child, it's going to hit harder. So her dealing with this grief, I'm looking at her. I see it. I see the pain. I see the sadness. I see the heaviness. And what I don't like is when people are out here playing with a mother's pain. Woe unto you, because the Most High, karma, ancestors, all of that. Woe unto you playing with a mother's grief, saying that she's not sorrowful about her son or some of the other egregious things that have been said. I'm not even going to repeat here because right now in the beginning half of this is what we are focused on is her pain as she's sharing it.
I miss my baby. I miss him coming into our room and laying across the bed and just talking about his day, updating us on everything. I miss seeing his smile. I miss his hugs. I miss hearing I just miss all of those things. And I know that we will not have that again. I will not be able to hear those words. I will not be able to put my arms around him. Like, I know that. And we're just trying to make it through. And we've had so much love from everyone. But we've also had a lot of hate. And that's one thing I don't really get on any of my social media and talk about is the backlash, the hate that we're receiving, because I don't really like to give those things attention. I really want to try to just focus on those who are supporting us, who are asking the most important question. I don't care about all these other questions. I truly do not care, because me and my family, we don't owe anybody anything. The only thing we did initially, we just asked a question. We asked, what happened to Nolan? That's it. That's the question we asked. And everyone went crazy. Everyone, and when I say everyone, I'm talking about the people who are being negative about this, because at the end of the day, this might be a joke to you. This might be funny to you, but it's not to me or to my family. We lost a piece of our heart. And so I would recommend you stop, because the hate is showing. If you're not giving uplifting, encouraging words to me and my family, then just stop. Like, you don't have to leave negative, nasty comments. You don't have to try to create AI videos. You don't have to do that. Like, you literally don't have to do that. Like, it's just wild. And I have to laugh sometimes to get through this pain. So for those of you who may feel like, oh, she's not grieving enough, trust and believe. I am grieving. I am absolutely grieving.
And you could tell that she's grieving. If you're a person who is empathic, my hairs on my arms are standing up right now. I'm fighting back, my eyes watering up, listening to her talk about how she's grieving and going through hate. Yesterday, we went through what someone had posted about the negative reviews that are being left underneath her pictures. So it's like, this is disgusting and egregious. The way that what she just said, I'm sorry, what she just said is so imperative for people to hear. They just asked what happened to Nolan, and everything erupted. They have never outright come out and accused anybody of anything. If you go back and you watch the press conferences over, not one time have they made any accusative statements and said, I blame this person. I blame that person. Yes, it's a race thing. Yes, they've never come out and they've never said those things. Yet, here she is and her family is receiving hate. There are people that are dedicated to putting hateful statements up. The LA shot caller, what's poppin'? Haven't seen you in a minute. The comment, these fools won't stop. Like that idiot Rango TV keeps attacking Nolan's mother every day. And this is what I'm saying. If you want to do anything for this family, pray for them. Pray for their strength. If you have children, imagine this being your child. This is not an average situation where you have a loved one that died under mysterious circumstances. The answers that you're getting, if we're getting all of these different narratives online, if authorities are coming out saying this and then saying this, and then this is being said, and then this one is over here saying this, how can you not understand them? Number one, being suspicious. Number two, being confused. Number three, having questions about what happened when you can't even get straight, direct answers from the very people that your son went out with. And what you're hearing doesn't make sense.
And just remember too, everyone grieves differently. I would never get on any platform and ever judge anybody because I feel like they're not grieving the way that I want them to. Like that's crazy. To even think that there are people like that are trying to tell me and my husband how we need to grieve the loss of our son. Like, it's wild. The other thing too, let me make this very clear. What you're seeing on my social media as far as the follower count, that was not there. That was not there before I lost my son. Social media does not pay any of my bills. Before this tragedy happened to me and my family, like, my social media was somewhat non-existent. So for those of you who are speculating on whether or not I'm making money off social media, let me be the first to tell you I am not. And yes, I know I do not have to explain myself to anyone, but sometimes just saying these things, it doesn't make me feel better, but talking about it does help me process what I'm going through. And so that's the biggest thing, is I'm trying to process my grief. I'm trying to process the situation because, again, like I stated before in my Facebook post, I don't have the luxury of falling apart. I don't. When you are trying to find out what has happened to your child, to your loved one, you don't get that grace and luxury.
Now let's stop there for a second. She doesn't have the grace or luxury to fall apart. Not only is she fighting to find out what happened to her son, she's fighting for justice. She has other children, 2 other children that she has to be present and available for as well. So no, she doesn't have the time to fall apart. Who can't understand that? And I want to say this, because when she took her hair down, it reminded me, there are people that are even attacking her, saying that prior to Nolan's passing, she was wearing her hair straight. Now that he's passed, she's wearing her hair curly. That is a bold-faced lie. And what the hell does the way that she wears her hair have anything to do with her grieving? First of all, if you have ever been through anything in life, then you know that you barely want to get out of bed to wash your ass, brush your teeth, eat, go to the bathroom. You don't want to get out of that bed. You don't want to move. So how dare you come after her because her hair is not straight now? This is the type of shit that I've seen with people coming for her and attacking her.
Or at least I don't. So I hope you guys have a great day. Have some things you have to do today. But again, to those of you who are showering me and my husband with love, thank you. We see the messages. We see it all. But specifically to those of you who've been so supportive, I can't thank you enough. And I hope you guys have a great day. I'm so sorry this video is so long. Please just continue to pray for me and my family as we're navigating not only the loss of our child, but also trying to grieve, trying to process while being on a national stage. So there's that. Thank you. And I love you guys. Have a blessed day. Bye.
So that was Christine's video. She did that video 5 days ago. And I wanted to touch on it. I wanted to highlight it. I came across it last night and I said, wow, we really need to take a minute to really understand. And she even mentioned it herself. They're trying to grieve on a grand scale. Steve Black, you can absolutely give your opinion. Opinions are allowed. What's not allowed is rudeness, racism, or disrespect. Those are the only things that I do not tolerate on this channel at all. And I don't allow anybody to speak about kids negatively either. So as you type that out, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get these subpoenas up on the screen for you guys so we can get into these and everybody can understand what it is that we are looking at. So these are the actual documents. Shout out to Henny Legal. Okay, Henny Legal has obtained these documents. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to review. But before I do, I want to give Steve the time. I don't want it to be like, oh, wait, before we do this, let me just refresh everybody on the hate. Okay, so let me take this down really quickly and let me just put this up real quick. So if you remember yesterday, we spoke about this, we touched on this and we talked about how, she's been receiving hate. So if you guys missed it and if nobody has highlighted or you haven't seen it anywhere else or whatever the case may be, this is what she's talking about. Now, Let's Talk About It podcast is who originally posted this. But I am _ the kid reshared this, okay? And they said in their caption, his mother has not returned to work since July 3rd because of the holiday. And then, of course, the bereavement after that. In the last 2 weeks, people have gone to her profile and given her terrible reviews only since then. All she did was ask what happened to her child. These people are ridiculously racist, stupid, and evil. This is another example of systemic racism and an attempt at oppression. And we went through the comments that were left, but yes, they are absolutely going over there and leaving negative comments for her, which is disgusting and vile. And that's just one form of the hate that she's receiving. Now, like I mentioned previously, she did show us that there was a photograph that was sent to her of her. And then you have Al Sharpton on one side, Ben Crump on the other, and they have arrows coming through from both men with dollar signs in their eyes. So that's something that she showed us she's receiving. We don't know what else she's been receiving that is hate. Okay. Steve Black says, okay, my opinion is if Crump wouldn't have been involved in the case, I don't think it would have been this. Some people can't stand Crump, just my opinion. And you know what? Your opinion is very valid because a lot of people on both sides of this have some things to say about Ben Crump. Me personally, I have said he needs to be more careful with what he's doing as far as social media. But I've never taken away anything that he has done, because on the flip side of that, if Ben Crump was not involved, this would not have gotten so much attention, all of the attention that it got. It wouldn't still be active and going in the media. So I'm going to say that is in the eye of whomever chooses to take on that topic. I'm not criticizing Ben Crump for anything, because to criticize him and say he should have never gotten involved, I'm not going to do that. But I know that there are people that feel like he's not doing this case any real justice, or he's doing it a disservice. I don't feel he's doing it a disservice. I just feel like, vet some things a bit more carefully, but I'm also looking at it as strategy, right? All right, so let's get into these court docs. Now, as you know, when I'm reading docs, I'm not reading comments, but I will try to go back and read them. So in this is one of the subpoenas, okay? So she has subpoenaed Life 360. This is not a subpoena. That can go back here. All right, so she subpoenaed Life 360. Most importantly, she has subpoenaed Snap for Snapchat, okay? She has subpoenaed TikTok. She has subpoenaed WhatsApp. She has subpoenaed the Meta platforms, okay? And the Meta platforms, that includes Facebook and all of that. So let's read one of these subpoenas that she has placed on social media platforms. Now, you have to also remember that she asked for to become the administrator of Nolan's estate not too long ago. And with her becoming the administrator of his estate, she's entitled to this. With her filing, putting the families on notice that she will be filing for wrongful death lawsuits. They're coming down the pipeline. So you guys need to keep evidence and not destroy anything. If you missed that reading, I did that yesterday. It's yesterday morning's live. So here are the actual subpoenas, you guys. So it says you are hereby commanded within 21 days from the receipt of this subpoena, but no sooner than 15 days from the receipt of the subpoena, to produce a permanent inspection and copying of all documents, electronically stored information, records, and tangible things designated below, and to deliver, mail, transmit, or make available for inspection said materials to counsel for petitioner Christine Wells Walmsley. Oh, well, that's the lawyer's address. Okay. Okay, so it says all materials described in Exhibit A, and it says your personal appearance is not required. Okay, the request, excuse me, the requested material may be delivered personally to the counsel or by U.S. mail or other carrier to arrive at the aforesaid location within 21 days, but no sooner than 15. So they want this information within 15 days, but no later than 21 days, okay, from the time that they have received this documentation. Now, this was written on July 28th. So if they sent it via U.S. mail, then they should have this by the end of week. And then they will be on the clock. So by August sometime, they should have this information in their possession. Okay. So it says, notice the person subjected to subpoenas. So it's telling them that, you know, pursuant to Rule 45A of Mississippi Rules of Civil Procedure, please be advised that Rule 45D and E as followed. Protection of persons subject in subpoenas in general. On timely motion, the court from which a subpoena was issued shall quash a modified subpoena if it fails to allow reasonable time for compliance. Okay, so this is giving them all of the duties of the, I'm trying to get to what it is. Okay, that's the proof of service. So they sent this through a server, okay, because this is a proof of service. So they're using a process server to send this information out to everybody, because here's the form right here. So when the person hands over those documents, they will then sign and say that they, as a process server, delivered this information. And of course, they will provide proof. If you remember when Russell Simmons got served over there in Bali, I covered that as well. And the gentleman who served him, he videoed himself showing that he had served Russell Simmons at his hideaway resort. So that's exactly what's going to be coming down the pipeline. So the materials to be produced within 21 days are all materials and information of all kind, regardless of form, in your possession, custody, or control, or accessible to you concerning Nolan Xavier Wells. Oh, hold on one second. Shit, I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to have to cut that out. Please, please, please do not. Please do not. I'm asking y'all, please do not. Okay, please do not. Hold on one second, you guys. Okay, well, let me take that down and let's just say they have his cell phone number, they have his email, his user number, his user handles that he had. And let me go ahead and let me put this back up now. All subscriber information associated with the account, all current and prior usernames, email addresses, phone numbers, and display names associated with the account creation date, and the IP address used to create the account, all IP addresses attached, tied to action on the account, including logins, password resets, two-factor enrollments. Now that is important, this right here, because if what Christine is saying is, accurate about, and I'm not calling her a liar, I'm just saying if what she's saying is true, that they got into the accounts and they were able to delete things, then a password reset, they would need to know, were the passwords reset? was a two-factor authentication used? And when were these accounts logged into? Okay. She wants all IP addresses tied to friend events on the account. So anything that has a group photo, she wants the IP addresses of all those people that are tagged in those photos, okay? All communications configured as public on the account and all related data and metadata. All non-content information concerning the account, all information that identifies or may be used to identify any party messaging in the conversation with the account. Everybody he's talked to, okay? All non-content information concerning the account, all information that identifies or may be used to identify any party messaging in conversations with the account, and all communications, messages, chats, snaps, posts, stories, spotlights, to, from, or including the account, all photographs, video recordings, audio recordings, content, attachments, text files, transcripts, GPS data, location data, metadata, memories, metadata, sender, recipient timestamps, logs, device identifiers, friend list history, and all other electronically stored information of all kinds related in any way to the account. Baby, I like whoever's writing her documents for her. Let me explain to you why, because they are very detailed and very specific with what it is that they are asking for from this account. Now, my only thing is I wonder how long Snapchat keeps certain things that get deleted on their server, because each individual social media platform has main servers. So I'm wondering how long they keep this information on their servers, and I'm hoping that they're still able to give up that information and that time has not expired. And I'm only asking that of Snapchat because Snapchat, stories go down within 30 days. Now, she's asking for the same stuff pretty much from each account. This one right here is going to be from what she's asking Life 360. So what she wants from Life 360 is all the subscriber information, just like the other one, all of the usernames and creation dates, the IPs, the logins, the password resets, pretty much the same stuff. But because Life 360 is different, it's not really a social media app, it's a GPS app. She's asking for all information that, all communications, meaning alerts, updates, and other information transmitted to, from, or concerning the account. So she wants the GPS of where he has been with that application. She wants it sent directly from, Life 360, and she wants all GPS information. And she's asking for the same thing through all of these accounts. And, I have to say, shout out. Yes, Life 360 has come through. In this case, they're going to be coming through. And there's other cases where Life 360 has really been detrimental. Hey, Life 360, shout out and salute to you. Okay. Let's see. She said, can we get this request filed before the grand jury? The authorities better have all of this and present it to the grand jury as well. Well, what you have to remember is Christine and Elmore are doing their own independent investigation. So with them doing their own independent investigation, she absolutely can ask for this stuff. Now, she would have to turn that over to authorities as well. But here's my question. If they're doing their own independent investigation, then if the state is not being compliant and transparent with them, but they do have to submit to the grand jury. Okay. So that's going to be that. I think that this is excellent. And again, if you're just tuning in, we just went over the actual subpoenas, and she's putting subpoenas, which there is a process server who is attached to this. So she is going for boop, boop, boop. I'm supposed to be highlighting them as we go. Life 360, Snapchat, TikTok. Okay, she's going for TikTok. WhatsApp, which is a part of the metaverse, but the WhatsApp, the app, and she's going for meta platforms. Okay. She's going for the meta platforms. And we also do have a please take notice that Joel J. Averitt of Carol Buffkin PLLC hereby enters his appearance in the above styled and numbered proceeding on behalf of petitioner Christine Wells Walmsley and requests service of all pleadings and papers in this action. Okay, so she has been, and we did go over this yesterday, that Carol Buffkin is one of the Mississippi law firms that is connected to Ben Crump. It is somebody that he works with. So yeah, if people are wondering, oh, well, what's going on with the investigation, the private investigation seems to be moving along a lot further, faster, and more thoroughly than what we're seeing come from the state. Now, as we speak of the state, I wanted to bring this to your attention. The Mississippi Attorney General has made a public statement and says that those who threaten investigators on the Nolan Wells case will be held accountable. So apparently they're saying that there are investigators that are being threatened in the process of all of this. Now, WLOX and this news company, which is Action 5 News, is using WLOX's coverage of this. But this is what the Attorney General, please don't give me a commercial because...
If you want a cheaper time to go racing at K1 speed,
I knew they was going to bring it.
Or buy two, get one free promo.
That investigation into the death of Nolan Wells enters its third week. Mississippi's Attorney General has a powerful message. Lynn Fitch says anyone who threatens investigators on the case will be held accountable, saying, quote, efforts to intimidate, disrupt, or interfere with the work of our law enforcement and prosecutors and threats to their well-being will be taken seriously, end quote. Her statement comes after Mississippi Department of Public Safety Commissioner said in interviews his office has received threats. Now, Wells's body was found in the water just off of Horn Island 2 days after the 4th of July boating trip with his friends. His family is raising concerns about how he died.
So I must have missed that, where they're saying that they're receiving threats. But don't you find it awful funny that the last time that they came out and were talking about the family was receiving threats, there was something going around very viral in this investigation. And now the audio has been going around very viral. And instead of them addressing it, you're coming out and you're bringing us back to threats being made. You're talking about anyone that's investigating that you're taking this. So are you taking it seriously about the Walmsleys? I mean, I'm just asking. Are you going through and getting the IP addresses of people who are actually harassing her at her place of employment, leaving bad reviews by the numbers? Right, sweetly cynical. Shouldn't they be considered investigators? The family be considered investigators now? But you know what this sounds like to me? This sounds like a plot and a ploy. And we already know that they are trying to silence people from covering this case. Case in point. Remember yesterday when I brought up Russell Latino and we were talking about him and what he said and how he's threatening to sue Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, Nancy Grace, and any media outlet that repeated their statements. I want you to understand that part. Let me read that part for you. If Wells's friends are ultimately exonerated, I'm starting from here. If Wells's friends are ultimately exonerated, I plan on offering my legal services free of charge, no contingency fee, to file defamation lawsuits, starting with a look at Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, Nancy Grace, and any media outlet that repeated their statements without any challenge. But I won't stop there. This prejudgment, factless bullshit has to end before it tears our community apart. Be skeptical, demand results, but you can't just accuse people of anything without evidence. Okay? This has nothing to do with Magnolia Tribune. This is Russ the lawyer. But I want you to pay attention to this part right here. Any media outlet that repeated their statements. Ben Crump, Al Sharpton, Nancy Grace, Don Lemon. I'm glad they didn't put Don up in it, but if people like them were not talking about this case and keeping it in the news, it would fade to the back burner. You're saying you're going to go after any media outlet that repeated their statement? Do you know how many media outlets you're going to be going after? Oh, don't worry. I won't wait for an answer. But you're trying to silence us. They don't want us covering what they're covering, what they've said. They don't want us reposting it. They don't want us reviewing it. They want us to just leave what they're saying over there. Absolutely not. Absolutely the fuck not. I think not. That's not about to happen. Anyway. What'd you say? You said, and that's why Tatum and Judge Cole are actively tainting the local jury pool. It's so egregious. I agree that it is egregious, with actions that are being taken. Now, I wanted to bring this back up because this is making its way around again. So I wanted to bring this back up. And I wanted to remind y'all, I think maybe 4 or 5 days ago is when we first talked about this email right here. Okay. And in this email, this is where that information is coming from right here about the 6 o'clock time and the alcohol. It's coming from this email. And if you remember, we already covered this email. And the question is still being asked. Who is saying this? Because we don't really know who gave this information to MDMR. What I also find very funny to me and very suspicious that in all of this, while people were talking about everything, the recordings and all of that stuff, where did it come from? They never answered. They never answered. Okay. They haven't said anything. Now, I know on Don Lemon, Daniel said that he reached out to the Cajun Navy. He reached out to the Cajun Navy, and the Cajun Navy, what is his first name? Aaron Treasure. Don't quote me on that first name because I don't even know if that's accurate. But that he told him that it is factual that there is information that states that Nolan was on the beach. I know you didn't lie. I know you. Okay. I'm going to need the likes up. I'm going to need the chat flooded. When I say flooded, I'm going to need the chat flooded right now. Because y'all are not going to believe this. Actually, y'all might. So it might not be breaking news. ex-teammate of Nolan Wells will sue over online accusations that he alleges spurred death threats. BART Edmiston. You ready? BART Edmiston, a former teammate of Nolan Wells on the Ocean Springs High School football team, is set to pursue defamation claims after alleging that a flurry of unfounded accusations on social media led to a death threat. Russ Latino, a lawyer and CEO of the nonprofit news publication Mongolia Tribune, announced that he was representing Edmiston in a Facebook post alleging that defamatory statements are putting BART, his family, and friends in harm's way. Latino did not say who the initial lawsuit would target, but did note that many individuals on social media have made posts alleging without evidence that Edmiston, I believe I'm saying it right, whatever, played a role in Wells's death. A U.S. park ranger found 18-year-old Wells's body on Horn Island, south of the Mississippi Gulf Coast 2 days after he traveled there to celebrate the 4th of July with a large friend group who took multiple boats. After the boat he rode out on began taking on water due to a faulty bilge pump, Wells's friends who were on that boat said he declined to return to shore with them, saying he would return later on another boat. One of the friends, Warren Hudson, calls Wells's mother and the U.S. Coast Guard around 11 p.m. to report him missing. Though the circumstances and cause of Wells's death remain unclear, speculation has spread across social media platforms, with many users accusing multiple of Wells's friends and their family members of being involved in his death or having racist motives. Those kinds of accusations, Latino alleged on Wednesday morning, have endangered his client's safety. Edmiston graduated from Ocean Springs High School in 2023 and is currently a punter at the University of Wyoming. Social media users began spreading speculation about Edmiston after claiming to hear the name BART mentioned in garbled audio that began at the beginning of a call that one of Wells's friends placed to Cito to report the boat was sinking. The friends on the imperiled boat ultimately canceled the Cito call after Edmiston arrived on his boat and assisted them. BART received a credible death threat yesterday because of some of the made-up speculation on this and other sites. The FBI, state, and local law enforcement have been activated, Latino says in his announcement. Okay, let's get to what he said, shall we? All right. So Russell Latino, I have been retained by the family of BART Edmiston Jr. to pursue people defaming him and wholly fabricated assertions of fact that are putting BART, his family, and friends in harm's way. The family will put out a formal statement later today and announce the initiation of its first defamation lawsuit. BART received a credible death threat yesterday because of some of the made-up speculation on this and other sites, talking about Facebook. The FBI, state, and local law enforcement have been activated, but I wanted to share a few things for people who think it's a game to invent lies that could get other people killed. We have hired a private investigator firm to identify and track individuals engaging in defamation against the Edmistons. That you are young, naive, or lack the resources to pay a civil judgment will not deter us from filing a lawsuit against you. This is not about money for my clients. They want to protect their family, and they want to curb people who lie recklessly. If you make up something out of thin air or share something you do not know to be true, adding the words allegedly or saying people are reporting will not save you from a defamation lawsuit. We will address the falsehoods being presented methodically, but now is not the time for that. Now is the time to make very clear that we intend to be unrelenting against people who are lying online for clicks and likes. The Edmistons and the broader Ocean Springs community grieve for the loss of Nolan Wells. They want the truth and peace for Nolan's family. People making things up online that put others at risk are not honoring Nolan's life or loss. They are not bringing us closer to the truth, but pulling us away. This will be a large, potentially nationwide task. If you're a lawyer who believes that the rule of law, the perception of innocence, and very commitment to truth is in jeopardy and want to do something about it, please reach out to me privately. Now, according to the Mississippi Free Press, it goes on to say that the attorney also said in a follow-up post that some social media posts have used a high school photo of Edmiston, who is now 21, claiming it showed him and Katie McCormick, a woman whom Wells was spending time with on Horn Island on the day he died. Latino wrote that some on social media have gone on to falsely claim that BART had an intimate relationship with Miss McCormick and that he killed Nolan Wells because Wells was speaking to her. The person in the circulating photograph was a much younger BART. With a much younger BART is not Katie McCormick. BART is not now, nor has he ever been in a relationship with Katie McCormick. He did not know who she was before this tragedy occurred, he wrote. Let me be abundantly clear. BART Edmiston Jr. did not kill or in any way contribute to the tragic death of Nolan Wells. Latino continues, he had no motive to do so. All he did was help a boat that was in distress. He has fully and freely cooperated with authorities, sharing every bit of information he knows, providing access to his boat, his GPS, and his phone, and sharing witness lists with investigators. Authorities have not publicly identified any evidence of foul play in Nolan Wells' death. An independent autopsy that Wells' family found that the cause of death was undetermined without the results of the state autopsy and toxicology report. The findings, which family attorney Ben Crump announced on July 22nd, said that while there was some red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, there were no lacerations of the overlaying skin nor fractures of the underlying skull. Jackson County District Attorney Angel Myers has said, I don't know how to say, her last name, said that the official autopsy and toxicology report will not be made public until after her office presents the findings to the grand jury, as is standard practice in the county for deaths that are not caused by a non-criminal car wreck or clear natural causes. Attorney Russ Latino said that BART Edmiston's family will put out a statement on Wednesday afternoon to announce the initiation of his first defamation lawsuit. But this will not be the only one, he suggested, calling it a large, potentially nationwide task. We have hired a private investigator firm to identify and track down individuals engaging in defamation against the Edmistons, he said. They are young, naive, we read this part, or lack resources to pay civil judgments will not deter us from filing the lawsuit against you. This is not about money for my clients. They want to protect their family, and they want to curb people who lie recklessly. If you make up something out of thin air or share something you do not know to be true, adding words allegedly. Okay, so we read that already. And so it goes on to the other friends and family also reported death threats that Warren Hudson, one of Wells's friends, who has faced accusations on social media, told YouTuber Officer Tatum in an interview that he was unable to attend Wells's funeral due to death threats and a desire not to disrupt the service. With everything going on social media right now and people saying the things they are saying, I would never want to take the attention off of Nolan and his family. They don't deserve that. And, For personal reasons, he said, I've gotten thousands of death threats. My family's gotten thousands of death threats. And for my own safety, I'm not going to put my health and safety at risk. It breaks my heart that I could not go. And it hurts me more than anything because obviously I want to say my last goodbyes to one of my best friends. Okay? Yeah, Ashley Cole reported that and saying people on the internet with no affiliation are being put into harm's way, and innocent people are being accused of something they had no involvement in for all for some views, likes, he added. Okay. They talk about Nolan's family receiving hate mail as well. Since his death, the couple has been targeted with racist, people are coming. Yeah, 1-star reviews on her profile. Let me see if it's going to take us to that. Yeah, we've talked about this. Mm-hmm. So, you guys, put a 2 in the chat if you heard this already someplace else. Because this is breaking news to me. So it looks like Russ Latino has finally gotten his foot in this case. You know, I said on the onset when I first heard that people were sending death threats, like death threats is a bit much and the FBI are involved. Police will have to exonerate him. Until then, can't stop the press. What happens? Don't get fired. Don't get fired. Wait, I thought he said he wasn't there at all. BART can't say he wasn't there at all. Warren put him there. Warren said in the interview that BART was there. Yeah. I hope and pray that there's a chance that these people that are responsible for this investigation tried to use a delay to get people to make move like this and expose themselves. They are steady trying to cover this up. Police and courts will have to exonerate them before any defamatory case can go out. BART was not in Wyoming. He is 21 years old. Okay, I'm reading comments. A lawsuit is a good thing. Hopefully, he have to come out and say what happened that day and why his name was in the background. Interesting take on it. Yeah, listen. Oh, that's fine and dandy. But what about buying alcohol for underage? Allegedly, possibly, we don't know. Factual death threats are prosecutable against actually threatened. Yeah. I mean, look, let's see what happens. Don't listen to what you just read. Pace said he was there on the 4th of July in the statement. Comprehension level is crazy. Whose comprehension level is crazy? I know you're not talking about mine. Because I literally just said Warren put him there. Warren said he asked him to come. Warren said he brought his boat out, the tide line. MDMR, they came and they searched Bart's boat and got Bart's GPS. Will we get Bart's GPS next? Because that is the only way. That is the only way. Well, guess what? They have to prove that it's defamation. Defamation is more than just saying something that is inaccurate to someone. Defamation has to actually cause you some type of damages. You have to prove that what's being said is inaccurate. So that means you're going to have to prove that you were not on Horn Island. You're going to have to prove that that is not you in the background. You're going to have to prove what Warren said was a lie. And if you say that Warren is lying, then that means that you're calling Warren a liar and you're throwing more heat on him. You're going to have to prove that you did not provide anything to the children that were on the boat, the underage people that were on the boat with you, where everyone is saying that everyone was drinking. He's going to have to prove what he did once he arrived on Horn Island to the time he got to the mainland and all of that stuff back and da-da-da-da. He's going to have to prove that defamation occurred. Not just say that because these people are saying things and he's saying he didn't and he cooperated with authorities, you can't just say that. You got to prove it before you guys can actually file a lawsuit. You must prove it. But the one thing that they can come out with right now that they can say is possibly defamation, but they have to prove that it's caused them some harm, which I guess they would say would be the death threats, but is that people were saying that he and Katie McCormick were in a relationship and that's what that whole story that they could probably do. I don't know, but I'm just saying they've got to prove it. They can't just say it. Are you not following this case, JD? Or did you just come in here to be an agitator? Where did I say he said that in that article? Have you not been following? Nothing in the interview placed him on that boat. No. What placed him in the vicinity of the Triton and all of that, Rock My Baby, is the audio where people are saying that they hear Bart. When in the audio, very clearly you hear Bart pull the plug while you're going. So Warren said he was there, that he drove the tide line. Warren said that in the interview. That his buddy Bart was home for college and he had him bring his boat out too, which was the tide line. But no one ever put him on the Triton with Nolan or any of that. No, they didn't. For defamation, you absolutely have to prove defamation. You can't just say that someone is defaming me, and you're going to have to reveal your death threats because it has to say that this is because of online. It has to. You have to prove defamation. I could actually file a lawsuit against you for harassment because I can prove it. They're doing all they can to try and cover up what happened, but we know something happened to Nolan. Are we still? Well, in the pursuit of everything, we still don't know what happened to Nolan. I hope BART has verified records, threatening calls, and numbers. Well, maybe they'll release the full video of them on the boat, the real video of them on the boat while the boat is filling up with water, and we'll get to see the water in the boat and BART on the tide line tying the boat onto his boat. And maybe this will bring out more evidence that they're not trying to give up. He said, my buddy BART, more than a few times. Exactly, sweetly. Oh, I love your picture, by the way. I love your picture, and I love purple. It's crazy how these people think we are crazy. Like, we don't know something happened to that child. Exactly. We know something happened. We're trying to figure out what happened to Nolan. We are trying to figure out what happened to Nolan. And that's it. And neither is anybody else. But you see how I said I could hit you with a harassment lawsuit and you kept going? So do you think that by saying that, oh, he's not on trial, that's going to stop people from talking? No, BART needs to get up and say something and prove that it's defamation. Anyway, child, the ending of this was a little explosive, wasn't it? We had a conclusion. Boom. So I try to be careful with what I say, Lord. Keep me covered and keep me out of that lawsuit. Anyway, y'all, that's going to do it for this live, this pour, this spill. Shout out to the replay gang, because y'all have been showing out in the replays for real. Shout out to everybody that was here from the beginning to the end. Shout out to everybody's opinions and views, whether I agreed with you, you agreed with me or not. I appreciate all of y'all being here. Thank you so much for all of the support and love that you guys continue to show. I will see y'all a little later on today. I love y'all so much. Peace out, everybody. 'Cause I don't